how does it feel to be a founding member of the Arrowverse Justice League, more or less?
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I know. I hope we bust out that table. They can't do that and then not show it again, because there's always all this talk of we're not doing the crossovers ever again, because it's so hard. But I'm like, you can't bust that table out and not do something.
It's Camelot now.
Yeah,
in every crossover.
that actually would be such a cool side series. It's just a secret. I feel like it should have been underground, but
warehouses can
we can move the table.
Just not Oliver Queen's headquarters, because everybody always breaks into there.
Yeah, that's true. Leave the Oliver Queen monument upstairs and put the table downstairs.
I mean, speaking of, you came on to Arrow season 2 with, I assume not the expectations of, after all this time, still playing Sarah, having her in a healthy relationship for a while, captaining a Times ship. How has this journey been for you?
It's so weird. It's so weird on so many levels of. Well, just as an actor, it's an odd journey because I signed on and it was 3 episodes on Arrow when it first started, and then it's turned into this, and here we are, 7 years later. It's crazy. And I love Legends so much. I think that's been the greatest gift is what this show turned into for all of us. It really is. Yeah, it's just so much fun. We get to have so much fun on the show.
As for sort of Ava and Sarah, we've been talking about the fact that you guys get to be happy and there doesn't have to be ups and downs all the time. Will that continue this season? And if you could speak a little bit to allowing them to just grow and live together in harmony.
Yeah, I wonder where this year was pretty peaceful for them, so I feel maybe this next season after that is going to be more wild. But this one, I think a lot of it was just both of them trying to. So much going on all the time, that first episode, it was so great. That actually, I loved watching all of their scenes, the Sarah Ava scenes in that first episode, and when Ava faints too, which was just Jess doing playing around, none of that stuff was planned. And there's so many more stories to come from them still though. Yeah.
So can you talk about the episode that you got to direct this season?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Just how much fun was it? How different it was from acting, obviously?
It's totally different. It was such an amazing experience. I feel like I'm left brain, right brain type person. I'm not just the creative side. I do logistics and practical things, and directing really requires all of your brain. And I really like being in charge.
Ultra Clean.
It's fun as an actor. It's they stand here, say this, do this, wear this, and when you're a director, you get to be the one calling the shots and making the decisions, and especially creatively, when you get really passionate about, or when I get really passionate about the story, and then I see it and I want it done the way that I want it done, where it's the table shouldn't be like this, the table should be this kind of table, and this and this and this, and to be able to make all of those things happen. And it's so cool on a TV show, when I shot a short and having to produce everything and put everything together and the team, and on a show, you come in and it's you have a production designer, the art designer, the people casting the extras, an entire team of people where you're I need bird cages and I need live birds, and it's and somebody's there to make it happen, and yeah, it was so much fun, and being able to work with the actors in that space was really, really fun, and you learn so much. I learned a lot about acting, which was really cool. yeah, I want to do more of it. So everybody watch the episode and say it was amazing, so then I can direct more.
We also have this Green Arrow and the Canaries potential series sort of in the wings here. Is that something you would like to sort of take part in eventually? Should it get?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I've already told them, I was like, I want to pop over. I want to come over and hang out. So I hope the show gets picked up. Also, I just want Katie and Juliana and Kat back up in Vancouver with me.
Yeah.
And the action on that show I thought looked great. I thought it was really cool what they did with it. So hopefully, I hope the series gets picked up.
Well, with the Black Canaries all being in the future, is there any chance Sarah could start wearing black again?
You know, I'm ready to switch up the white costume. So, which actually I'll talk to Phil about that. Let's be like the dark blue canary. I don't know. I don't know. There seems like there's enough black canaries already. But that black costume was great. It's pretty cool.
We were talking earlier with some of the others about how we haven't really seen the fallout of Earth Prime on Legends yet because you're not in the same time period as everyone else. But Sarah got hit with that the hardest with both losing Ollie and regaining her father at the same time. So can you talk about how that's going to affect her coming forward, having been a part of the crisis and also suffered one major loss but one major gain?
Well, so we shot the first 7 episodes before Crisis was shot and before the finale where her dad comes back to life. So we didn't know about that for the first, for all those episodes.
You knew Ollie was dead because you referenced it, but you didn't know about Quentin.
They gave me a monologue of I became a paragon and this and that and but there was no script. I didn't know what any of that stuff was. But I did the whole monologue of what I went through, and I was like, wait, but what? And they're like, yeah, it's a paragon. I'm like, what is that paragon? And I did, whether it makes the cut or not, I did sneak a line in about Sarah's dad in the finale, so hopefully, I was like, hey guys, that, because it's a separate show, it's hard, but I was like, Sarah's dad's back to life, so maybe we should mention it, I don't know. But yeah, the timing part is very off from because we started airing so late. Yeah.
We did see Sarah sort of dub Ava as sort of interim captain for a bit there. Was that a one-time thing? And do you think that they're both sort of taking on leadership roles this season?
Yeah, they both are for sure. And I think a big part of that was me having to go direct, so I couldn't be in those 2 episodes very much. And I think, Sarah really wants Ava to be happy, and I know Ava, she knows Ava was struggling kind of from having a job, being the boss, and all this stuff, and busy, to just being on the ship and trying to find her place. And she is a skilled, leader. She knows how to run things, and I think part of Sarah wanting to make Ava feel good, and also probably for Sarah, it's good to be able to take that hat off for a little bit. Everything has fallen square on her shoulders for so long, and in terms of trying to keep everyone together and keep things together, I think it's kind of a relief to be able to pass that off for a bit or share it.
Last season you had a really good scene where you talked about how most of the original legends are gone and it's down to 3 of you, and after this season it'll be
2.
It'll be you and Dominic. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like to have this constantly shifting cast where you're this constant and also saying goodbye?
Well, luckily they do it slowly. Mm-hmm. I feel if it was an abrupt change, then it would feel weird, but I feel everyone's been on the show the whole time, kind of. It doesn't feel like they're new, or just kind of feels like it's always been like this. But yeah, it's weird when I think about it now. I'm like, oh gosh, Dom, you and I are the only ones left. It's let's go get a raise.
Which is the exact attitude you should have.
And yeah, I don't know, it's weird, and hopefully I'm hoping next season we do a lot of cameos of bringing people back.
We are going to say goodbye to Ray and Nora this season. Can you talk about sort of the emotional impact of that on the characters, but also like on you guys behind the scenes.
Yeah. It's story-wise, there's a great Shakespeare episode that has this fantastic love story between Ray and Nate that we get, and Ray and Nora have some really great storylines. There's this like super rom-com type episode that's just great with them, and they were so awesome in it. Which there's a nice guest star, which I don't know if I can say who that is. But yeah, so that's there's lots of fun things, and I think Ray was always that light for them, the optimist. He was always like the purest of them all, and everyone else is like, there's a darkness to them, the shadiness. There's just something, and he was just pure light, and so it's a little bit of a struggle not to have that light and optimism there. So figuring out that without him is difficult, and on a actor level, it's especially Brandon. It was we've been working together. Brandon and I were working together for so long. We did a movie together, and I remember him being like, "How'd you like working on Arrow? Like, should I go on the show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so it's and he's so great that, of course, I want to see him every day at work. I don't want him to be gone. But it's sad, but with these shows, like you're never fully gone.
Yeah,
like,
no one's gone.
No one's gone.
You've died 3 times, as was recently pointed out.
Yeah, and even times where it's like clear intention that this is permanent, so you never know. Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow made a number of best of lists in the past year or two. How does that make the entire cast feel?
It makes us proud as fuck. No, it does. Like, it feels great. I think like our show is a little bit more under the radar than the other shows. So to get some recognition of people like saying that they like what we do and appreciate it is really cool. Yeah, and like I think it's because we always felt like that ugly stepchild. Then we have no problem like bragging about it or like rubbing it in their faces because we're like, oh, look what Rolling Stone said about us. And they're like, wait, who are you? Who are you? But it's cool. It's really cool. And it's fun just that like what we're doing is different. It's weird. Like it's not following the formula. It's not like the other shows. And it's really like it's having to build its own audience and mythology and everything. It's not like we're Flash or Supergirl or something that everyone already loves. It's really making their own stuff, and the writers really take a lot of risks. So to be able to then people to go, yeah, okay, like we like that you took that chance. We like that you're stepping outside of the box is cool.
And last question. All right. Since you do have that freedom of where you're not confined to like the comic book stories, and you've done some very weird bananas stories in the past, now that you're starting to direct, is there any certain type of story you want to direct, be at the helm for, or something that is being like tossed around in the writer's room that you'd like to take charge of?
I want to do like I want a Baz Luhrmann episode, like
Yes.
Moulin Rouge. Some, like I want dance, performance,
Glamour.
yeah, theatrical, movements, over the top. That would be what I would want to direct.
Wow, Supergirl got that musical episode, like.
Yeah,
And
something like that would be like, yeah, that's what I want to do.